minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Humane Society, Krystle Noble back with us. Good morning.
Good morning, officially here
officially now, yes, official, harumph. But
don't mind the hippo talk earlier. That's
right.
In the past.
That was not official talk. This is official talk here. So don't go petting hippos at zoos without permission. Of course.
Without permission. There you go.
For folks that aren't familiar, Krystle joins us twice a month, and we chat about pets that are looking for homes at the Humane Society. And of course, just encouraging support for the Humane Society, whether it's becoming a member or utilizing and shopping and participating at the thrift store. All of those things are making donations. All of that helps the Humane Society do what it does to make sure that we find fun, loving homes for all these pets. So that's the goal. Some days it's easier than others, but that's the goal.
It is. Some days, some days I absolutely love my job.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some days to where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And it's not because of the animals. It's because of the type of people we have to deal with.
Sure. Yeah, people don't. There's a lot of people out there that don't treat animals like members of the family, and
they do very cruel and inhumane things, and it makes me very angry. And legally, I can't go around shooting everybody that does that stuff. So,
but you wanna?
Oh, many.
Yeah, I understand.
But
you
get
get frustrated. You get mad.
There are days where certain people just make the job very hard to do.
Sure.
But the animals, at the end of the day, is the main reason why we're there, is to take care of them and make sure that they can find a home that's going to treat them with all the love they have, and as a family member, and do everything right by them that they can.
Absolutely. And dare I say, provide a benefit to the family as well.
Right.
There's a reason. I'm not talking service dogs and stuff, but in actuality, that's kind of what they're doing. Just they don't have the formal training for it per se.
People who have animals have a happier life.
Yeah, exactly. They just, you get, and for some people, it's a reason to, especially that's older senior, maybe the kids are all grown and everything. So that dog's their companion, or that cat is their companion. That's
right.
That's the one they fawn over. That gives them, when your life slows down and you start, we all go through it at some point where you're like, or will be going through it. And it's like, well, all right, what's my purpose here? What's my thing? And sometimes that pet and providing love and giving it, that's their purpose. And so that's all wonderful things to do. So this is why we want to adopt. We want to, all the things we talk about, teaching kids responsibility, companions for, those are all good ideas as long as all of them are done with supervision and done under the right pretenses. To just do that without all parties involved or informed, or as a parent, you're expecting the kids to take care of the animal. They're not going to do it right. You're going to have to step in. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And you got to be prepared to do that. And if you're not, then you shouldn't adopt a pet.
No, and we screen everybody who comes through to adopt from us. It's not like a pick and go. It's nothing like that. When you walk in, you're welcome to walk through, look at the animals. If there's one you're interested in, we'll tell you anything we know about that animal, do introductions. But if we feel you are not a fit family, we will refuse any adoption.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're either going to see that animal again, or worse, the animal's is going to die or mistreated or something like
right. And the way we operate is we would rather have that animal with us than in a home that's going to neglect it and mistreat it.
Yep.
Because we know what care we provide for that animal. And at the main reason of our job is to find these animals a suitable, loving home. And if we feel that you do not fit those criteria, we will not adopt you.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And so please understand that when you go through the protocols, that is to adopt a pet, and they're like, why so strict? This is why. This is why, because we want to make sure, and 9 times out of 10, that's not a problem. Most people are like, yeah, I got a fenced in yard. I got we got a loving home. We got shelter, water, food. It's going to be, or no, my cat is going to be indoors only, and they're all going to be spayed, neutered, and all that good stuff. Most people don't, but you always get one or two that, my dog's an outdoor dog, guard cat or guard dog.
Guard cat, I've seen a few of them.
Yeah, and so, and we don't want, chaining up a dog in the backyard with a water bowl and that's where its home is all the time is not a way to live for a dog.
No, that basically is just a yard ornament.
Yeah.
And we're not about yard ornaments. If you want a yard ornament, go to Ace or Home Depot and get a gnome.
Hobby Lobby, they got a great selection of things you can throw in your yard. Yeah. Home Depot, any of these places got stuff.
If that's what you're looking for, go get a gnome and put a chain around its neck. Put a water bowl next to it. Don't try to go and get a dog.
Yeah. Someone told me, go get one of those robot toy dogs at Walmart or something and do that.
One of the battery-operated dogs.
Yeah. Because that one, when you're bored with it, you walk away and it just sits there. But, you don't have to, but yeah, that's, if you're not willing to make these animals part of your family, then maybe you should think elsewhere about it or not adopting. And I know animal control, they have less stringent requirements, and so people choose that, which is fine, but provide the loving home. Don't because if you don't, then odds are pretty good it's going to end right back up at one of these facilities or worse.
Somebody, like one of your neighbors, is going to call us.
Yeah.
And we're going to send them out for a welfare check, and then your dog's going to be picked up.
Sure. Or even if you're not knowing what you're getting into, because I think you also get probably some returns because they don't realize, yeah, dogs and cats do things. Like sometimes they're puppies and they chew stuff and you got to train them. You can't just it's not like a phone you pull it out of the box and start using it. You got to train it.
They don't come pre-trained.
Yeah. And so people don't realize all that involved and they're like, I can't handle this. And so please know fully what you're getting into before you decide that you're going to make a pet part of your home.
And one of the things that we do is we work with one of the dog trainers here in town. And he has a special discounted price for anybody who adopts a dog from the Humane Society that goes through his training class. And it's it's Jimmy Preston.
Okay.
So if you adopt a dog from us, and we're pretty sure this dog is going to need a little bit of training and certain issues, we will give you his card.
Good.
And we will tell you, make sure that you tell him it's adopted from the Humane Society because he does do a special price for that.
Yeah. If you want to save a little money doing it.
A dog that has an issue that, we're unsure how to deal with, we'll call Jimmy. He'll come down there and he'll help us deal with it. So that way, when we do put that animal up for adoption, that issue is already dealt with.
Sure. And the thing is, it's all about understanding pets. And this is where, and what I mean by that is animals' behavior, there's a cause and effect. Something is causing them to act in that way. If it's out of character or irrational, something different. Maybe it's a medical issue. Maybe it's an environment issue. Maybe it's a food issue. It could be. It's not the dog or the cat being rowdy or whatever. You know what I mean? It's doing it because it's trying to communicate there's an issue, and we don't understand their communications, and so we misinterpret.
And one thing that people really need to understand is when you go to a training class.
Yeah.
That training class is for you
as much as the dog.
To teach you how to speak to your dog.
Otherwise, the trainer's going to be able to control your dog, and you ain't. And that's how it works. You have to be very much involved at every facet of that.
Basically, the training class is for you, and it teaches you how to handle your dog, how to command your dog where your dog will understand you and what you're wanting, because a lot of the times people don't understand. Your dog does not understand, do this.
Right. Yeah.
They understand, words, sit down, say.
One word
you've
commands.
Taught them.
Yeah.
You can't. Okay, some people have gone to the extreme of saying, go to the fridge and get me a beer. But, they've worked very hard at that.
Sure.
But your basic commands, down, stay, sit, roll over, those are commands that, your dog is easier to understand with the training and with you working with them. They're not just going to come out of the box pre-ready. This is not Robots, the cartoon where you build your kid and it walks and it's ready to go.
Exactly.
It doesn't work that way.
I've even heard, when you name your pets, maybe use like one-syllable names and things because it's easier for them to understand and interpret it quicker that that's their name, that's their... I've heard that. I mean, I've got multiple syllable names for my animals, but I've heard like for dogs especially, if you name them like Rex, Bob, things like that, they'll pick up on their name quicker than if you name it something more elaborate, that's got multiple syllables and things. If
you reward them with a treat every time you call their name, they pick it up symbolize quicker. Their name a whole lot quicker.
Gotcha. Well,
like my Dane, it's Titus. So, from a very young age, he was referred to as his name. But, when he first came home to us, you would call Toby, Snooky, whatever, and he'd come running.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
When I call your name, you come.
Yeah.
Titus. And then he'd be like, and I'm like, Titus. And then he'd look, oh, hey, that's me.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
It's all in how you react with your animal when you first get them and you're naming them.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, they want to see how the dog acts before they name the dog, because the personality,
sure.
That's...
They want to fit the name to the personality. Yeah, it makes sense.
Right.
Absolutely.
But, when you are choosing a name for your animal, just make sure that you reward them when you call them by the new name. Mm-hmm. So that way they know, hey, that's...
I'm telling you, positive reinforcement is the key with animal training. That's, and I'll tell you right now, potty training is crate training. It's so easy with a crate training because dogs naturally don't go to the bathroom where they sleep. And so, and if you treat the crate like a place of quiet for them, as a place where they can go and chill, then they'll like it. It's
downtime.
Yeah. Don't use it as a punishment. When they do something bad, don't send them to their crate because now they're going to look at it as a punishment, not a place that's theirs. So, and when I had my dog, I'm telling you, crate training, we had almost zero accidents in the house training her because it was so easy. And to get her to go to bed and everything was easy. I just say, all right, bedtime, and she'd willingly go right in there, be happy as a clam. You shut her in, she's good to go for the night. Get her in the morning. We had zero issues when you treat that place like it's her own, and she loved it. And sometimes she'd go there on her own and be like, "It's not time yet, dude." She's like, "I'm just here." And
it's funny because Titus does the same thing.
Yeah.
His crate, because he's so big, is like the size of this desk. But
we need one, yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny because he is like 100% housebroken.
Mm-hmm.
Like he will not. He will tear the walls down to get outside before he does anything in the house.
Yeah.
He will not do anything in his crate. And when he wants to lay down and get away from the world, he closes the door on his own. He sticks his paw, grabs that door, and closes it.
I need me time. I'm out.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Come on. And he's like, huh.
That's right.
And I'm like, okay.
I need a break.
So he's like, 5 minutes, Mama,
right.
5 minutes. But he was so easy to train. And then, smaller dogs, unfortunately, they have smaller bladders.
Sure.
So they require a little bit more
Frequent trips.
yes.
Yeah.
And more of a reminder because little dogs unfortunately can't always hold their bladder,
Yeah.
the 4 or 5 hours in between your lunch hours.
Yeah. And then puppies in general, even big ones, they spittle when they get excited and things
Yeah.
and stuff.
Those are called happy pills.
Yeah, and a lot of times they outgrow that, but the little dogs, sometimes that's a continuance their whole life. But bigger dogs get that too. They just, most of them outgrow it. But because my dog Sissy did the same thing. She'd piddle on you like, you can't get mad at her. She's just excited. She's trying. She's doing her
Right.
thing, and you got to understand that. And that's that. You gotta have patience with a pet. That's just it. You gotta, because they're gonna screw up, and you gotta maintain the even
They're
keel.
like
You
a
gotta-
toddler that never gets out of toddler stage.
and to be honest, they're interpreting every facial expression, every feeling, everything, and they're interpreting it, and that's how they're trying to figure out if you're happy or mad at them. And they may not understand why you're mad or happy at them. And so when they piddle on something like that or do something accidentally, and you get mad at them, they may not understand why you get mad at them. So it's one of those things. And I don't get me wrong, discipline when there's things doing, you got to handle business. But a lot of the time, understand most of these things aren't malicious in intent. They are just them trying to learn the ways. And so for you to get frustrated might set back your training and their understanding of what you want them to
And
do.
the majority of the time, just using a different tone of voice with
Sure.
them is enough to
That's all I
reinforce
did.
them that, I'm
Yeah.
not supposed to do that.
Like, yeah, exactly. And I get out to the point where if Sissy was goofing around, I'm like, Sissy, what are you doing? And she kind of keeps going around, Sissy. And she, and stop, it's done. She knew.
You dad voiced her.
Yeah, I just go from Sissy to Sissy, and then it's all, what?
Like, oh, you're really calling me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she did that, and that's, again, training, and it's all trust. Training is about trust, establishing trust. They're trying to trust you, you're trying to trust them, and at the end of the day, that's all you're establishing is that trust, that to where that dog or cat, at the end of the day, they're relying on you for every facet of their life, and so you got to kind of, give them that trust so they know they can trust you. And once that happens, they're going to go through walls for you. They're going to go through and do all kinds of stuff for you, and including sit when you tell them to sit, lay down when you tell them to lay down, and roll over when you tell them to roll over.
Right.
That's how training works. You got to. It's like you said. You're training the owner as much as the pet, and I'd say you're actually teaching them to have a relationship together, and that's
you're
what
bonding
you're doing.
them, you know, because you're giving them that communication together that one understands each other.
Yeah.
When the dog does something a certain way, you know what that means now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Versus, why is my dog over here twitching his head to the side and left,
Sure. And it's not just dogs. Cats are the same way.
Oh, yeah.
It's different responses, obviously, because they're not as loyal, they kind of, but they love and respect you just as much. They just show it and do it differently.
You have to earn cats' affections.
But like for my cats, like right now, I mean, I get greeted at the door just like dogs every day. They lay. I mean, the one cat pushes envelopes. My wife, me not so much because she knows I put up with a lot with her. But then when I'm done, I say, bah, and then she's done. She's like, she starts getting lippy about something. I'm like, ah. And she's like, okay, I crossed the line. Now my wife, she pushes a little more envelopes, but for me, she knows I don't give her as many chances. But what I mean is there's that love, because she get mad at me, and then 5 seconds later, she's back in my lap wanting me to love on her. And it's like, oh, okay, that's the relationship,
It's like they have a goldfish brain. They're like, oh, I forgot I already did something. Let's go back.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is. We're running short on time, but I definitely want to let's spotlight some of the pets. Talk about any deals we got or any events or anything going on at the Humane Society.
I know we're supposed to be having First Fridays with Tascosa.
Okay.
That should be the first Friday in May.
Okay.
Which I think is
next week. Yeah. Next Friday, whatever date that is.
Actually, no, the following Friday.
The following Friday. Yeah. Okay. We got one more Friday.
It's going to be May 6th.
Okay.
Sorry.
So it'll be 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Weeks, yes.
Okay, very good.
And then we have the Bulldog Pups. They're American Bulldog mix.
Okay.
They're coming on 6.5 months of age. They're not very big. Unfortunately, the lady who released them to us is not sure what got her dog pregnant.
Okay.
But they're already smaller than mom. And they're 6 months of age. They're probably about that tall.
And so are they about done at 6 months, or are they going to grow a little bit more?
They might grow a little bit more. I don't know exactly, because not knowing what she got bred with.
Gotcha. But odds are pretty good they're not going to get much larger. They're about where they need to be.
I don't think they're going to be very big at all.
Yeah.
And one of them, I call him my turkey, or she, because when she barks, it sounds like a turkey gobble.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm like, it took me forever to figure out which one it was. But
you got to record that if you get a chance.
Yeah,
you get
like,
isolated
and I'm like,
put that on Facebook. That'd be funny.
So I call her my turkey. But they're all happy. They're sweet. They're super affectionate. They love people, and they just want love. And we have 5 of them.
So if you're looking for a bulldog to bring home and be a part of the family.
And the good part about it is whatever they were bred with, they don't have the smushed face.
So they don't have to deal with some of the congestion and those issues that bulldogs tend to deal with, or pugs, or any of those kind of smushed in face type dogs. So, which is, by the way, that's all for a reason. Like, and I think that's a hunting going into holes thing, why they have the smushed up faces.
The reason they have the smushed up faces so that their bottom jaw protrudes up, so that way they can wrap around and have the jaw pressure too.
There you go. Gotcha. I knew that they were there's reasons for all that. And I know, like, some of I think Jack Russell's one of they go in holes. That's why they kind of are the way they are.
Jack Russell's go in holes. Dachshunds go in holes. Rat Terriers go in holes.
I saw Jack Russell chase a deer for a half a minute, and then the deer said, "Wait a minute, why am I running from this?" And turned around and went back after it.
He's like, "Oh, hey!"
But I swear that day, and the deer were like, "No!" And then they literally wouldn't stop. They're like, "Wait a minute!" And he saw the dog come running back this
bigger
way.
Than you. We do have the 2 Dane mixes. They're not very big. They're Doberman Great Dane mixes.
Okay. So if you want a big dog feel without actually having a big dog or ginormous dog, this might be a cool little pet for you.
They're even actually smaller than the Dobermans.
Oh, wow.
So
they're kind of a medium-sized dog at the end of the day.
And
But
that's
you want to mess with
Max and
people, and be
Rose.
like, I got a Doberman, and they're like, oh, that's much. No, it's not that as big.
Yeah. It's not the min pin, it's the mid pin.
Okay.
Not the miniature pincher, but the medium pincher.
Yeah, we mid pin. I like it.
Mid pin. We do have Chelsea, which is a Shepherd Heeler mix. She's super, super sweet. We have Sissy, which is a Pit Bull mix.
Oh, nice.
She is super, super, super sweet.
Cool.
She's probably about 55 pounds. She's a black brindle. She sits. She'll shake.
So she's had some training.
She's had some training.
Someone's worked with her.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And she's 80% housebroken.
Okay.
She holds it to the best of her capabilities, but sometimes you just got to go when you got to go.
Sure. So maybe someone that works part-time or can at least let them out there during the day or something.
Right.
Probably more beneficial for a family that can do that.
Until she gets a little bit more into a routine.
Sure.
But,
How old is this dog?
Sissy is 2, I want to say.
2 years old. So still got the little bit of the puppy mentality,
Yes.
but
Loves to explode squeaky toys.
okay. Well, usually dogs of that, they love to chew on things, and they're the ones that you want to give them the chew toys, but they destroy them in 3 seconds. And you're like, yeah, like my dog loved tennis balls, but
Stitch it.
she would rip it apart like in 15 minutes. It'd be a tatter of stuff.
Polly is the same way. You give Polly a tennis ball, and it is peeled and poof. And it's like blink of an eye. And I'm like, how do you do that so quick?
And I'm like, hey, we could have played catch till you ate it.
Yeah. Well, we had one of the schools did a toy drive for us, and so there was a various of toys. Well, we already know that Polly shreds, but she also eats the inside, so she doesn't get those anymore.
So you don't want to have her have those.
So we got like 25 tennis balls. Well, they lasted a total of 4 days because we kept changing them throughout the day. And
as soon as you get them, they're gone as quick as
And then Sissy, she got it was a bull.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be like a like the Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
But it was on a giraffe neck.
Okay.
Yeah, that took about 20 minutes, and Sissy had it kaboofed, and I was like, oh.
And you know what the part that stinks about it is you're like, okay, note to self, buy tough toys. And so you'll buy like these hard rubber tires or things. You're like, oh, they can't destroy that. And they know that, and they don't want nothing to do with it. Like I'd get those for her. She'd pick it up, smell it, maybe lick it, maybe chew it for like a second, and then I put it in the toy box, and it would never be touched again.
Find the tire toys that have a squeaky inside.
Okay.
Titus has one at home.
And that one?
And that has lasted.
Okay.
Because he likes the squeaky.
Okay.
And so he can't get to the squeaky, so he continues to play with it.
So it's a good engaging toy for the dog. Cool. Yeah. See, that was my problem. Is I could never find either. I found something so tough that she didn't want to mess with it, or it wasn't tough enough and she destroyed it in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
That was kind of the thing.
Really quick thrift store.
Yeah.
So they are still working on all their projects, the spring cleaning and the construction.
Okay.
They should be on track to reopen on the 27th.
Awesome.
Permitting no setbacks.
Right.
But while they have been closed, what they have been doing is they have gone through and they've removed everything off of the racks, shoes, everything.
Okay.
And completely stocked with everything completely new.
So basically, you just changed out all the inventory.
Yep, they did a complete wipeout because their donation is a plethora to just completely have restocked the entire store, and everything is completely different.
Nice. So if you haven't been,
purses are different, shoes are different, clothes are different, wall decor is different.
So even if you were there last time, it's all new stuff.
Yes,
so,
it is completely everything new. Toys, everything.
And when do they plan on opening back up?
It should be Wednesday the 27th, barring no setbacks from the construction, because we're having the book room redone.
Okay.
And so to make it less hazardous, because books, metal, or wood, it tends to slope and slant.
Sure,
and
yeah.
We don't want anybody.
Get heavy.
Yeah. We don't want nobody to have a bookshelf fall on them.
Yeah, when you have bookshelves and they're kind of bowed in the middle there, maybe you ought to lighten the load a little bit or think about getting a new bookshelf.
Yeah. So, we're getting a whole new book room this go around.
Cool.
But if you want to call on the 27th before going down, just to make sure that they are able to reopen, as long as everything gets finished in time, they should reopen on the 27th.
Do me a favor. If there is an issue, shoot me a text that day, and I'll announce on the radio for folks. Say, hey, delay on that or no game on. They're going to be open today.
Okay, cool. I'll definitely do that.
Okay.
But it's going to be complete new inventory, new everything, new books, new shoes, new clothes.
Nice.
They've got a ton of comforters and curtains. So if you need stuff for your house, they got various sizes.
Cool. So when you come out next Wednesday, it should be a whole new shopping experience. And again, every single thing you buy in there, that money goes back to the programs, back to those pets, taking care of their vet bills, paying the light bill, cleaning supplies, whatever's needed to take care of the facility and the pets. That's what it's going to be used for. So.
Yes. And if you like casual summer dresses, they've got a ton of them.
Nice. If you want to have a summer dress party, good selection to choose from right there.
Yes.
Very cool. And of course, if you have stuff to donate, always, call ahead on things. They'll call and make arrangements, but they can even pick up and things depending on date times and all that kind of stuff. And especially if it's bigger ticket items, like bigger furniture and things, they take all of it, but certain times we don't have room or we don't.
Right.
So
if you call ahead and, say, hey, I've got this couch. It's approximately this size.
Yeah.
And give warning so that way they can either clear an area for it.
Sure.
Or ask you, can you bring it or can we pick it up at this day and time to give a chance to make room for it? Because unfortunately, our thrift store is not that big.
Yeah, it's not a superstore. Don't have that kind of room.
No. Unfortunately, no. So a lot of larger items all at once, kind of creates like a hazard in the thrift store, and we don't want anybody to trip, fall, or get hurt.
Sure.
So if you call ahead, we'll definitely make arrangements to get it in and get it taken care of.
Very good. So reach out. Don't forget, check out the website, roswellhumane.org. There you can see every single pet that is calling the Humane Society home right now.
Yes.
If you see not available next to their picture, that means they are still in quarantine. That does not mean they've been adopted. Those pets will be available at some point, depending on when they clear quarantine. Could be a weight issue, could be they waiting on vaccines or whatever it is. There's a reason why, or they're new to the facility and they want to make sure there's no health issues before they put them in general population, so to speak. So once all those barriers have been passed, then the not available goes away. But if you see one of those pets, you're like, oh, that's the one I want, is not, then I encourage you to call. Check in with the Humane Society, keep tabs, and because at the end of the day, this tells Krystle and her staff that no, we got someone that wants to make this a loving home, and then you can basically get all the prerequisites done. If like they want to come out, make sure you get spayed, neuter, make sure your your home and everything's good to go for all of this, and then when the dog is able to come out of quarantine, if there's meet and greets and all that, then we can do all that and go from there. So yeah. RoswellHumane.org there, and then of course being a member is another way to get involved.
Yes, and that is linked on the Facebook page as well.
And then and come on by, give out the hours once again for thrift store and for the kennel.
The kennels are the kennels are Tuesday through Saturday 9 to 12 and 1 to 4:30, and then the thrift stores Wednesday through Saturday 10 to 4:30.
But closed right now. We'll reopen next Wednesday, 27th. Update permitting on that one as far as everything keeps going on according to plan.
It's looking smooth.
Good.
So.
Good. Well, anytime there's renovations or anything like that, there's always delays. It's just the nature of the beast.
And a lot of it is because of lack of supplies.
Yeah, in COVID world, tenfold. Supply, demand, that's all.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it. I know. Well, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it as always.
Thank you.
We'll see you here in a couple weeks, and hopefully we got some great stories of some loving dogs and homes and everything else making connections. So, be a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you then.
See ya.
It is 9